Board of Trustees for the Harris County Department of Education now convene in a board meeting on Wednesday, May 18th, 2022 in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard, Houston, Texas at 1:03 p.m. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present in this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to report from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. We will now have an invocation by Roxanne Torres from Human Resources, and we will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance from Norman Rodriguez from the Center of Education.
God of love, God of goodness, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect the students, staff, faculty, and friends of HCDE, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth and for the greater glory of you and for the service of humanity. We ask these things with all the holy names of God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Now we move on to agenda item 4, which is the open forum. According to Government Code 551.03, public participation. Pursuant to policy BED local, a citizen who wishes to speak may do so by completing a participation request card available at the boardroom at least 10 minutes prior to the regular board meeting. And I have been informed that there are no visitors or guests to address the board. So that will take us to agenda item 5, which is our reports and presentations. And then, so we will start with agenda item 5A, which will be the Employee of the Month by Natasha Truitt, Executive Director for Human Resources.
Good afternoon. As part of HCDE's Employee Recognition Program, I'm pleased to introduce our Employee of the Month for May. The Employee of the Month program recognizes HCDE employees who take initiative beyond their regular job duties, who demonstrate a high caliber of work, who are committed to completing their task on time, who work as a solid team member in their division or school, and who use creativity, collaboration, and innovation to enhance their overall job performance. Our May Employee of the Month is Harriet Hubacher, a teacher in adult education. Harriet is a truly amazing employee and individual. She has been with HCDE for about 20 years, but in fact, this is her third career. According to Linda Fajoko, Director of Adult Education, Harriet is a master at meeting her students' needs. She never stops exploring new ideas to help support her students while finding ways to keep them engaged in their work. This can be seen in her work with students and technology, especially the use of Microsoft Teams as a place to facilitate coursework such as reading and writing activities in the digital learning world. As adult learners, some students are often uncomfortable or fearful of using technology in their assignments. Harriet eases her students' trepidation through innovative and fun tasks that encourage interaction and familiarity with technology. Students are then able to use technology effectively to support their learning. This was critical during COVID when all instruction was virtual. So Harriet's initiative and innovation really helped keep the program going during the pandemic. Harriet is also the go-to person for helping new adult teachers with their professional learning and use of technology. She volunteers to train her peers in applications such as Teams and is known for offering generous time to support teachers with programs and activities. In addition to helping colleagues with technology, Harriet routinely gives her time to other teachers to help them understand the curriculum and how to teach it to students. She was the first teacher to learn the complexities of the e-text curriculum and helped the entire instructional staff learn the new program through outlines and training. Testing the product first, she ensured that her colleagues not only understood how the program worked, but could effectively use it to support their students. This saved the program valuable time and resources, as staff did not require additional training to effectively implement the new software. This type of initiative is a hallmark of Harriet's work ethic and her ability to adapt to changing situations. Harriet's dedication to her work is apparent on day one of her classes. Before the term even begins, Harriet creates student names and passwords for everyone on her roster so students can immediately access their online coursework and begin studying outside of class. This affords her students a solid foundation for the rest of the coursework and gives them an accessible way to ask for help and receive additional support from the first day of class. In addition to holding herself to a high standard, Harriet is an avid learner, constantly seeking new information about how to better support her students and enrich instruction. Harriet has years of wisdom to impart to her students. She uses the experiences from her 50-plus years in the workforce to give students insight into how the education and knowledge they will gain through a GED or ESL class will improve their lives and change their future. All of these characteristics are just a few reasons why Harriet was named the State and National Adult Education Teacher of the Year for 2022. As the first teacher to gain both designations, she continues to blaze a trail in teaching, finding ways to support adult learners with their academic and personal success. I'll now like to share with you a video featuring Ms. Hubacher. Look here. I can never see.
Don't get frustrated.
Okay, you did a good job. But look at the second phrase. I try not to get frustrated.
Always my specialty was working with the pronunciation and trying to find ways of, if you don't hear the sound, you can get it by the way what you do with your lips and your mouth, your teeth and your tongue.
How long have you been married?
I've been married 12 years.
Okay, for 12 years. But remember, I have been married.
As a child, I was always the outcast because, 1932, and I didn't want anything to do with anything girly. I always played with the boys. My dream as a girl was to be the first professional big league major ball player. And I played all through high school. The other girls thought I was weird. I always hated the restrictions. In fact, I can, more times than once, my mother's saying to me, no daughter of mine's gonna do this or do that, and most of them I've done. I in high school, I said, I think I want to be a lawyer. Same thing. So 20 years later, I did. I majored in phys ed and English, taught a few years, and then I went to Japan with the Air Force. They offered me a job running service clubs on base for personnel. Ended up in Pensacola, Florida. That's when I was a reporter for several years. I wrote the first non-smoking ordinance for restaurants, and I found the loophole so that we could write the no paid toilets at the airport ordinance. Again, the rebel. It wasn't long after that I decided, woke up one night and said, I'm tired of waking up at night worrying about everybody else's problems. I'm gonna go smell the roses. And I went to the Peace Corps.
In the past 2 years, adult education literally was thrown into a situation. So she literally came out with her own training materials and trained over 40 ESL teachers. Literally helped the whole ESL team transition from face-to-face teaching to virtual teaching.
Something you do every day.
I play in my computer every day.
Okay. What do you do before you play on your computer?
I love teaching online.
Continue to the present. So you have to use present perfect.
I find I can actually have much more contact with my students. If I'm on the computer and I get an email from one of them about a problem, I say, okay, hop on, we'll have a conference, In terms of my work life, I really would say probably the last 20 years teaching adults, it's amazing how many, the insights they give me.
Congratulations, Harriet, as our May Employee of the Month. Congratulations.
I think if we give her another year, she could be the superintendent.
All right, this way. All right, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
I know. Thank you.
All right. I was excited when they said, "Oh, she got Teacher of the Year." I was like, "Great!" And then it's like, "Oh, she used to be a lawyer for 25 years." Like, dang, Peace Corps. Like, goodness gracious. Like, I think you probably, goodness gracious. So yes, congratulations again, Ms. Is it Ms. Hubecker? Did I pronounce that right, Ms. Hubecker? Oh yeah. So thank you very much, and thank you for what you do. And goodness gracious, I think I might have to study you and figure out what I'm going to do next in life, because you seem like you are on it. So all right, we will now move on to agenda item 5B, which is our Superintendent Monthly Report by Superintendent Colbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got a few things to update y'all on this month. Been busy, been doing my superintendent visits. Currently, I visit with Spring ISD, Pearland, Galena Park, Aldine, LaPorte, Crosby, Waller, Channelview, Houston ISD, Katy ISD, Tomball, Spring Branch, Pasadena, A-Leaf yesterday, and Cy-Fair tomorrow. Now, I don't know if you know or not, but gas prices have gone up. I mean, one day I went from Crosby to Waller, and that is a drive. So one super cool thing about meeting with all the superintendents is the affirmation of the services that we provide to ISDs. It always shocks me, especially in these large districts, that the superintendents actually know all the services that we provide for them. And they are always very complimentary. I would say that HCDE has a very strong reputation amongst our ISDs, and I look forward to us continuing that. I wanted to give you an update on some of our comms analytics. I've asked Ms. Clark to be able to give me some information just to kind of update you where we're at. For our teacher recruiting campaign, in reference to our Facebook ads, we had a total of 252,410 reaches. These are people who saw the ad on Facebook, on our Facebook feeds. As far as clicks, we had 4,445 clicks from people. This is just for our teacher recruitment campaign. We had page engagements. We had 15,819. And video views, which is one of our more popular things, we had 37,890 people view some of our videos on Facebook, and that was just for the month of April. For the awareness campaign, our total reach went out to 349,000 people. We had 8,798 clicks on the ads. Page engagements, we had 24,901. And we've had 38,564 views of our videos, and that's just for the month of April. So I would say that our awareness campaign is alive and well and is doing very, very good. You've got some cards in front of you. This, I say all the time, public education is seasonal, and so this is the peak season right now throughout the entire country for public ed. We have a lot of events coming up, and so we've got several cards for you that are for save the date. First one that you don't have a card for is the Fortis graduation ceremony. Will be May 20th at 12 p.m. at Fortis. And if I know you don't have a card for that, so you may want to write that down, but if you need me to get you that, we can get something. Employee of the Month celebration will be at the Conference Center May 24th at 5 p.m. We're going to be providing a dinner for all the employees of the month throughout the entire year. ABS East graduation ceremony is May 25th at 9:30 a.m. And then something new that we're going to be doing this year is picnic in the parking lot. We're going to have us a picnic in our parking lot across the street on May 31st, and then at MPO we're going to have it on June 3rd, and this will be from 11:30 to 1. We will have a number of food trucks lined up for our employees, along with some other goodies and games and music, and they're allowed to wear jeans that entire week, which is going to be different. I've never worn jeans other than when I dressed up as a cowboy to the administration building, so that's going to be interesting, is wearing jeans and tennis shoes to work. So that's picnic in the parking lot. Records Management has their 30th year anniversary celebration at MPO on June 1st at 11:30, and I assume that that's going to be at MPO in the Records Management area. Okay. AB West graduation ceremony is June 2nd at 10 a.m. Our second picnic in the parking lot will be at MPO on June 2nd from 11:30 to 1. And then finally, you have a reminder of the board retreat, which will be June 3rd through 4th at the Houston Hilton NASA Clear Creek. And so we're in the process of finalizing that. So you have that card for a save the date for that. Another byproduct of our awareness campaign, let me hand these out, is we've got our spring mailer that's going out. Ms. Clark, when is this going out? First week of June. So wanted to be able to, this is kind of like, so we, every time we do this, we try to think about what the theme and the narrative is going to be and what we want the people to know. And so we felt like that we needed to kind of summarize services that have been provided throughout the year to the taxpayers. And so it's a summary of services that many of our divisions have done and things that are points of pride and things that we're proud of. So just so you know, that's going to be going out then. And finally, I'd like to recognize two other special individuals. You know, Mr. Parker and Mr. Ned have been doing an excellent job of coming up with different initiatives to recognize our employees, along with Ms. Truitt and Ms. Clark. And this year we've started, actually we started it last year where we did a Teacher of the Year, but this year we've expanded into Educational Aid of the Year. We have a software that we provide that is by a company called Edgenuity, which allows our kids to take online classes and then transfer back to their school district and be completely in sync with where they left off at our campus to their campus and vice versa. Well, they've been critical partners of ours and have chosen to sponsor our Teacher of the Year and Educational Aid of the Year. This year, we've been able to recognize one of our teachers at High Point East, Mr. John Price, who I think, how much did he get? Was it $1,000? So John, I'll be looking for a little commission, you know. I just take a little off the top, brother, that's all, about 15%. Mr. Price is completing his 5th year of teaching at High Point campus, and he teaches principles of information technology with Edgenuity. I'd also like to recognize our educational aid, and then I'll ask both of y'all to come up for a photo opportunity. But our educational aid for this year is Ms. Dana Jenkins. Ms. Jenkins is completing her 1st year as an educational aide at AB East, and she supports the middle school students in Mr. Butler's classroom, and she does a fantastic job with that. Before we have them come up, and so we can do a photo op, I'd like to show the video that we've done to recognize these two fantastic individuals.
On behalf of the Harris County of Education and Edgenuity, we'd like to present you with this check for $1,000.
It is really, truly a proud principal moment. Mr. Price has what I call phenomenal powers when it comes to building relationships with our population of students. Our students love going to his classroom. When you go into his classroom, it's not just about the academics, it's about the relationship piece, and that's what is so important and critical to the population that we serve here at High Point.
Because we meet so many different kids throughout Houston, and everybody brings something different to the table, and just try to get to know them and see where I can push them in the right direction. I won for the district.
You won, John?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations. Now that's some good news. Thank you, Jesus, huh?
On behalf of our superintendent, Mr. Colbert, our board of trustees, I'd like to congratulate you on being the Harris County Department of Education Educational Aid of the Year. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Yes.
I done made it, mama. I done made it. What am I going to spend it on? I just got a new house, so I'll probably get a barbecue pit outside.
My purpose is to change lives and to impact each and every person I come in contact with on a daily basis. We have a little community here at ABS East, and we all work well together.
As soon as we came, we clicked it off. We set our, expectations of the students, and it's been smooth ever since. So I'm so blessed to have Dana Jenkins.
She's learned to really work at de-escalating by, forming really positive relationships with the students. And so that's one of the things that we can count on Ms. Jenkins for, is being a positive role model, really getting to the depth of whatever is going on with the students.
We have a lot of great educators here within Harris County Department of Ed, but they're even better people. And having a heart of gold and being able to understand the mission, the vision of HCDE, and being able to operationalize it. That's what these individuals have done for our students. We're just grateful that they have chosen to be a part of the Harris County Department of Education family.
So we would like to recognize them, but I would like to say that, I didn't know how close they were to their moms. And so I think that's outstanding. So if you could please, Mr. Jenkins and Miss Jenkins and Mr. Price, come on up so we can take a photo.
Okay. Yeah, y'all jump up. Yeah. There we go. All right, this way on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right, thank you. I actually got a chance to sit in on the interviews for this year, and I was glad to actually see the interviews. Great candidates, but I loved everything I heard from our candidates, but particularly I remember what stood out to me about Ms. Jenkins. I remember she was all about basketball, and she started going, no, nothing bad. No, she got nervous. She's like, what you talking about? What did I say? Her eyes got real big for a second, but it was the basketball analogy, how we all play a role, and how she serves as a you said Durant and Westbrook. So she was like, yeah, Durant and Irvin. So yeah, so it was a matter of making sure we play that role and how she conveys that love to her students in a manner that they get, as opposed to, hey, this is your role, this is how you play your part, and this is what you do. So I thought that was excellent. And Mr. Price, actually, I remember about yours. The one, and for those who don't know, I've talked to Superintendent Colbert about this, but I've been going all around the county talking to anybody who will listen about education. What can we do in education? How can we help in education? One of the stops I made was to Wheatley High School, and when I was at Wheatley High School, they put me in contact with a young lady who did a program called Coding for the Culture. And they said, we've heard about your High Point campus. We want to get in contact with your High Point kids. So what I do is I say, email me. I'm gonna send it to the superintendent. He's gonna send it to the channels that it goes to. So eventually, there was a student from High Point that did get a chance to go compete, and he won the competition for high school students. We talked about this a couple of months ago, but when Mr. Price in his interview reminded me that our High Point campus, a lot of kids are a lot of times on the verge of they may or may not go back to school. They're a very critical period. And if we do not catch them at High Point, a lot of times that they actually may end up somewhere that they shouldn't be. So it's a very critical time. And he said he felt that student specifically, his world just expanded. And I was glad to see that. So I'm super duper proud of everybody, that every role that we play, like Ms. Jenkins says, everybody has a role. And I'm glad that my role and his role, all of our roles come together to make a beautiful thing happen in that student's life and other students' life, because you guys make beautiful impacts on students every day. But I was glad to see the fruition in that specific instance. And I just commend you both. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys do the heavy lifting. We just come and once a month. You guys do it every single day, all day, every day, and make an impact on students. So thank you very much for what you do. We can't thank you enough. So I'm glad you got your money. That's always great too. Money's always a good thing. So. All right. So now we will move on to agenda item 5C, which is the annual division update for on human resources. It'll be by Director Natasha Truitt again.
Congratulations to Mr. Price and Ms. Jenkins. I'm always excited when we have an opportunity to celebrate and recognize our employees for the hard work that they do. So thank you, Mr. Colbert and the board, for allowing us these opportunities to recognize our employees. So good afternoon. Today I'm here to present on behalf of Human Resources our accomplishments for the year. So thank you so much, Board of Trustees, Mr. Colbert, Ms. Langlois, for making it possible for us to share our highlights. First, I'll start by introducing our HR staff, if they would all please stand. So these are the amazing faces of the Human Resources team. They are the people who kind of act as resources for our staff, so thank you for all that you do. And we have a new member of our team. I think next week will be her 1 month anniversary, Elisa Morrow. She is our benefits coordinator, so we're so excited to have her. So thank you, HR. Appreciate all that you do. Here you'll see a list of the core services that we provide, but in a nutshell, we are here to support our divisions as they strive to reach their program and division goals. And then we're also here to serve as a resource for our employees. And we truly enjoy being able to serve our employees in our divisions. This year was a truly challenging year for us with regards to staffing. I think one of the most challenging in my career in human resources, and I'll share a little bit about that with you later. So our workforce size. Pretty comparable to last year, except our numbers are a little lower than last year, but you'll see 796 employees are direct service providers. That's about 81% of our employees provide services directly related to students, so our teachers, teaching assistants, educational aides, counselors, therapists. That's the bulk of our workforce. And then gender and ethnicity data, pretty comparable to where we were last year. Staff qualifications. About 70% of our employees have an associate degree or higher, and about 38%, I believe, are required to hold some type of license or certification for their position. And then in terms of years of service, you'll see that about 58% of our employees have been with us for 5 years or less. The employment data, as I mentioned, this year has been truly challenging for us with regards to staffing. It seems as we get one in, one leaves the organization. There's a nationwide labor shortage, and HCDE has been impacted by that. Of the employees we hired this year, about half of them were hired for our Head Start program that are full-time, and of those left, about half of them are from our Head Start program in our campuses. And so we've done, or the board has approved some incentives for our schools and therapy division, but then on the agenda we also have some retention incentives for Head Start that we'll be asking the board to approve for us. Leaves and benefits, again, comparable to where we were last year. Our largest enrollment are in the programs or in the benefits that are either 100% employer paid or that's supplemented by the organization. So we'll see high enrollments in our EAP program and our life insurance program, the portion that HCDE provides. And then we contribute towards the medical. That's kind of our third largest enrollment area with regards to benefits. Leave and workers' comp, again, pretty comparable to last year's numbers, however, maybe a slightly higher. We have about 14% of our employees, 133, that have applied for either continuous family medical leave or intermittent family medical leave, and then slight increase in terms of workers' comp claims that we processed this year. Some of our compensation highlights. As many of you may have heard, having a strong compensation philosophy is very important to the superintendent. Making our teacher pay, having the competitive teacher pay is a priority of Mr. Colbert. And so, again, for this school year, we were able to remain #1 in terms of teacher pay as compared to our school districts in Harris County. And again, a priority of the board was to ensure we're paying a living wage to our employees. And so we were able to increase the hourly rate from $13.50 an hour to $15 an hour. So that's the lowest hourly rate our employees are receiving. Thank you so much to the board for that. We continue to work with TASB to ensure that our salary schedules are competitive and we're not falling behind what the local ISDs are paying, so we do that every year. And again, thanks to the generosity of the board, we were able to provide COVID leave days to our employees. Yes, they were eligible for 8 COVID leave days if the employee tests positive or if the employee's child tests positive. So that allowed employees to stay home to recover or to stay home and care for children if they needed to, so we're appreciative of that. And then there were a couple of incentives that we offered early in the year, some retention incentives for staff, as well as COVID vaccine incentives to encourage our employees to receive the COVID vaccination. Some other highlights for the third year, we were named a top workplace by the Houston Chronicle. We had about 78% of our employees complete the culture and climate survey. That's a part of the process for being named as a top workplace. We received, I believe, over 1,300 comments from employees that Mr. Colbert read every last one of them. As a team, we met and discussed them to talk about, any changes we may need, any improvements we may need in the organization. So we really take the feedback seriously and, and review all the comments that we receive from employees. And then we were able to implement Employee of the Month recognition. We were able to recognize 9 outstanding employees this school year. This has been well received by our employees, and employees love to hear about the accomplishment of their colleagues, and so it's gone over very favorably. And again, at the beginning of the school year, we continue to respond to COVID. We all want it to be over, but it's still not over. But at the beginning of the year, we had a number of employees who tested positive, so we continue to implement our response plan and leave days for eligible employees. Then with the support of the communications division, I know Mr. Colbert read some of the metrics a little earlier, we were able to implement a comprehensive recruitment campaign, again, thanks to communications and their work on that, which consisted of our own web page called teachharriscounty.org, got that right, as well as some billboards, some radio ads, and other advertisements. And so we are hopeful that next school year we will see the benefits of that by being able to fill more of our positions next school year. And again, thanks to the generosity of our board, we were able to provide bereavement leave for our employees. Now employees are eligible to receive 3 paid leave days should they experience death in the immediate family. And then we continue with our employee wellness program, our partnership with Houston Methodist, where employees are able to receive one-on-one consultation with the nutritionist, biometric screenings, a number of webinars they're able to attend, and then we even implemented some virtual fit breaks during the year where employees can get up and exercise, so that's been fun. And then we've worked with IT to continue the implementation of our electronic processing of data, and so we're able to, implemented additional software that works with our e-finance system. So we were able to, we will be able to seamlessly transfer information to our e-finance system, eliminating the need for staff to enter data and, deal with paper, shuffle paper. So we're very excited about transitioning to a fully automated process. And I think it'll take us about 2 years to transition to the new system. And then worked with purchasing on an RFP to hire a consultant to help us with updating our performance management and development system. So we'll start work this summer on transferring or transitioning to a different system that will help us with performance appraisals. And some of the things we've been working on and we're keeping an eye out on, the rising cost of benefits, that continues to be something we consider, we look into. We just had a meeting with the benefits committee where we shared information about new plans we are considering that will be beneficial to the employees and hopefully some cost savings to them. Again, with the help of communications, we're hoping to be able to fully staff our schools and our Head Start centers this fall. As I mentioned earlier, that has been a challenge for us this school year, but we're hoping with some retention incentives for Head Start that we'll be able to retain a number of the employees in that division. And again, as I mentioned, not just HCDE, but nationwide, there is a labor shortage, and school districts, they're seeing kind of record number of teachers leaving the profession, and unfortunately, not the same number of teachers are entering the profession. So school districts are really competing for a reduced number of educators, and we're impacted by that as well. And then we continue to work on improving employee health and well-being. We'll be working with the Center for Safe and Secure Schools on some mental health initiatives and services that they offer to school districts. And then this year, we, at the beginning of the year, had a record-breaking number of fraudulent unemployment claims. And it's not just HCDE, it seems to be many school districts are impacted by that. Unfortunately, individuals are able to get people's names and social security numbers and fight for benefits. And so we've worked with our IT department to make sure, again, our systems are secure. And then we've been working with our administrator and our employees in responding to claims that have been filed fraudulently. And then I think I missed something I don't want to overlook, working with the division. Oh, and we worked under our highlights, we worked with our Center for Educator Success. This was a pretty big initiative. Work with our Center for Educator Success to offer leadership training for all of our managers at HCDE. This included our Head Start campus managers, assistant principals, directors, assistant superintendents. So Cindy, Dr. Brunswick, I think she's presenting next. She did, it equates to many sessions, but it's 2-day, full-day sessions of training on the speed of trust. And this is something we hope to continue later in the fall. And we will also have any new managers we hire this summer to attend training. I didn't want to exclude the work that Cindy did. It was a large commitment on her part to provide the training. Okay, any questions?
Any questions from the board? Superintendent Colbert?
I'd just like to say that our HR department is exceptional. And if you could have seen how they performed when we got locked down, you know, them and facilities, I mean, just trying to maneuver through that to ensure that we could be there for all of our employees and advocate for them as we weave through that was tremendous. Ms. Truitt does a fantastic job. All of her people down there are on point. And now we've got a new challenge, and we're dealing with the fallout of the pandemic, where there's nationwide issues right now all over the country with vacancies. And the trend that we're seeing is anybody who's eligible for retirement is retiring. They're not working for 4 or 5 more years, they're retiring. And so this is a new obstacle for our HR department, and specifically for Mr. Parker, who's trying to fill positions. And I feel confident with all the brain power that we have with HCDE, specifically in our HR department, we will stay in front of that. So kudos to you and your department. They're fantastic, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Truitt. And I've seen some of those HCDE billboards around town. Actually, on the East Loop, I noticed, I asked Mr. Dick, I actually saw one of his billboards that was there. All of a sudden it became an HCDE billboard. And I said, did you guys coordinate that? Or I was like, yeah. He was like, nope, they're just, so his rotates apparently, and HCDE went right behind us. So I was like, okay, well, but very good. And we thank you for all of you. Yeah, yeah. I said, between HCDE and Trustee Dick, we're going to have billboards everywhere. So, all right. Yeah. All right. So we'll now move on to agenda item 5D, which is the annual division update on Center for Educator Success, and that will be by Cynthia Brunswick, Senior Director.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board of Trustees, Mr. Colbert, and General Counsel. I am super excited to present to you the Center for Educator Success, which is our new center. So we'll actually be looking forward instead of looking back. I want to start by introducing the amazingly talented team who will make up the Center for Educator Success. So if they could please rise. Awesome. So Dr. Rogers has set forth a charge for all of us in E&E, and that is to work in concert with our partners to solve their most complex challenges. And we keep hearing about the crisis, the teacher shortage and the leader shortage that we're facing in education. We've been marching towards this for the last decade. But I want to point out a couple things about the teacher and the leader shortage that's important for us to remember that may not be hitting the headline news, or you may not be talking about it around the dinner table. But the instability in schools directly affects the outcomes of children. So as leaders and teachers turn over, you see the effects in reading scores and math scores. But I also want to point out the second bullet is that in our high minority, high poverty school districts, that we have 4 times as many uncertified and underqualified teachers, further widening that opportunity gap that just seems to grow and grow and grow. So we have combined ECA and TLC to transform educator pipelines, to reimagine how we recruit and prepare teachers and leaders, how we support them long term, how we advance them into leadership careers, and most importantly, how we partner with districts to make sure that we are preparing and growing and training teachers and leaders that our districts need to serve Harris County schools. So we've set forth some pretty big goals, and we're really looking in a 3-year span to make sure that we get this off the ground. Whenever you're starting something new, you have to sort of build towards some pretty lofty targets that we've set here. And you can see we are really focused in on certification, retention, recruitment of teachers and leaders. And I want to call out the last bullet here, where we're really focused in on partnering with districts. Instead of training and preparing and developing teachers and sort of throwing pebbles in the ocean around Harris County and beyond, we really want to find the right partners to concentrate our efforts to make sure that we are, again, preparing teachers that our districts need, especially in our most underserved communities. So to do this, we have a lot of work to do as we think about this next year. The things that the Center for Educator Success needs to accomplish is everything from automating systems to moving our educator prep coursework from a virtual environment back to a face-to-face environment, to making sure that we are increasing the amount of coaching, the time that our teachers are spending with children in preparation, and also expanding our sort of view of leadership support to encompass not only new principals, assistant principals, instructional coaches, mentors, and then again, make sure that we're focused on finding the right districts and creating the services that they need. Throughout all of our programming and all of our work is a robust coaching model, and this work is underway in building out sort of the CES way to coaching. If anyone's going to get better at anything, kind of need a coach to do it well, and that's what we believe is really going to be the key to the model and all of the work we do. So underway is the development and design of the competencies, what coaches need to know and be able to do, dispositions that they need to have, and the professional development and tools and resources that go along with it. We also believe coaches need to have feedback on their coaching, and so figuring out the models so that coaches can get feedback on their work and again grow over time. And all of that being able to track impact in a coaching platform that allows us to actually track the work of coaches, teachers, leaders, to see the incremental growth over time to make sure that we are having the impact that we desire. Finally, as we think about the design of all of our work, so who we serve, we've identified, what we do with them, we've identified, and the third piece of this is how we work. So one of the things that we really want to focus in on is being sure that we have flexible programming. So you'll see, I like to say there's 2 sort of ways of which you can work with us. One is what I call the pull-out model. So it's HCDE-led programs such as an HCD Instructional Coach Institute, of which districts can send new instructional coaches to us for training. We have districts, especially our smaller districts, that might only hire 3, 4, 5 teachers, and they can send theirs to their instructional coaches to our programs. The other way is that we partner and push in with a district. So if a district has identified a large number of paraprofessionals that they'd like to see as new teachers and have them certified, we can push into the district and actually run a program within the district. They call them Grow Your Own approaches to teacher certification, as well as if a district wants to establish a new principal pipeline or a new principal support program, we have the opportunity to bring our resources, our coaching methodology, and work closely with the district to help them develop theirs. So the idea that we have flexible programming to allow us to partner with districts in ways that they need for us to partner with them. So this past year, we've had the opportunity to sort of put our toe in the water and test out pilot a program that follows an HCDE sort of modeled lead program. So first of all, I want to acknowledge the two people who led this program. Tammy Rodney was the lead on the program, and Andrea Seagraves partnered with her. And we brought together first-year principals from Goose Creek, A-Leaf, and Aldine. They came and worked with us over the summer. They met as a cohort on Saturdays, and we coached them in their buildings throughout the course of this year. So we thought you'd like to hear a little bit about what their experience was like. And I'll just warn you, this was a Saturday. We had a football theme going on, so everybody's casual.
And I want to be more on the coaching end of that spectrum.
This is Harris County Department of Education's attempt to really fill a gap in the need for principals. And so we felt like if we could fill that gap and equip principals with those leadership nuances, we could really equip the school to be successful for the long term.
What Leadership Matters does is it makes it a safe haven for you to troubleshoot ideas, for you to get that support, for you to get that coaching, for you to get that modeling so that you can become a better leader for your educators and the community that you serve.
You know, having a brain trust of these individuals here to walk you through your first year, to walk you through some of the things that you never would imagine that you have to face on a daily basis. That's something that is priceless. It is just an honor to be a part of this program. I feel so lucky. I'm very humbled to work with some of these fine educators, but then also the thing that I love the most is having my peers here, individuals that are going through the same thing that I'm going through, and having someone that we can talk to, building those connections and those networks with our peers.
So we built CES on the premise that teachers and leaders need more support and not less support. We are not going to be a program that fills the entire tens of thousands of teachers that the shortage is demanding for right now. But we do believe that we are a program that will create the quality teachers and leaders and provide the level of support, the continuous support that teachers and leaders need to grow into their roles and become really strong teachers and leaders for the future. And so our work is really to inspire a new generation of educators that will teach and lead and generate new opportunities and new impact and opportunities for students. So with that, I conclude. If there are any questions, I'll open it up to you.
All right. I believe Superintendent Colbert has.
Yes, thank you, sir. Just a couple things that I want to speak to with this. It's interesting, as I mentioned a second ago, the ripple effect that we've seen in public education. So just think for a second. We had COVID, and then we've had vacancies, and we've seen a heightened level in discipline throughout the entire, at least in the county. I mean, the numbers we're getting at some of our alternative schools are significant. The next thing that we're going to see is student outcomes. And as scores come in, testing's finishing, ultimately what we will see is unfortunately student performance being affected. So think of that ripple effect, and then I wrote some words here. So HCDE prides itself on a number of things. One, if you've ever been around me, you'll hear me talk a lot about situational leadership. And that means you adapt to what's being required of you to do. You don't be a square and make everything else turn into a square. You shape shift into what's needed to give it what it needs. Intuitiveness, being adaptive, problem solving, blind spot. We always talk about how Harris County Department of Ed is here to address the blind spot of public education. And then coupled with that, audaciousness, willing to do things that no one else does, and to take a chance and to try to solve a problem that others can't solve. What you see in CES is an attempt to get ahead of something that's going to be a problem. And already, districts are really showing a tremendous amount of interest, which is kind of scary because we're not ready to do it at the level that they would love us to, because they're looking for solutions to a problem. And we are in the process of trying to finalize a solution.
Yes.
And so with that will come a tremendous amount of risk and hard work. Dr. Rogers and Cindy have been doing a great job, and we've been going through a transformation. But all of it is with the attempt to provide a service for ISDs that they can't do for themselves, and a problem that we currently have that wasn't here 3 years ago. And so we're being adaptive and intuitive, and we hope that we have a solution that's going to be able to help with some of the issues that come. So I applaud you with the hard work that you've been doing. I know you've done a ton of work along with Mr. Rogers and the whole crew. Everybody has spent a tremendous amount of time. I've put a lot of pressure on Dr. Rogers, and I'm like, you can't make a pig fatter by weighing it. You need to start feeding the pig. You need to produce, do something, stop you doing all these plannings and meetings. Let's get something going. And so he's finally done just that. And so HCDE is dedicated to help this new initiative be as successful. The executive leadership team is devoted to doing whatever it needs to ensure that it's going to be successful. And then I think ultimately the ripple effect that we will see from that is school districts being appreciative of us being all those things I've just listed. So thank you for your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. There we go. All right. So we'll now move on to agenda item 5E, other reports from board members concerning attendance or participation in board or HCDE related conference, event, activity, or committee, accolades for HCDE staff member or other deserving person. Trustee Dick.
Well, I want to congratulate Erica Davis from graduating from Columbia with her master's. That don't know, Columbia is like our country's like #1 or #2 school. It is one of the best, if not the best, schools. So congratulations to you. If you wouldn't mind, we all wrote you on. We all got a card and we signed it and gave you congratulations. Congratulations, Erica.
Yeah. So. Oh, there we go. On that note, so yes, there's a whole lot of congratulations going on around up at this Diaz, because Miss Trustee Davis just graduated with her, I think it was the second or third master's. Second, okay. I'm just I know she got a few degrees, to say the least. Trustee Dick actually also got another master's from Rice. And he also has, he's also added to the kid roster. He had a baby last week, so there's a whole lot of going. Yeah. So, Trustee Dick or Big Papa, however you are listed these days. Congratulations to both Trustee Davis and Trustee Dick in life. It seems like you guys are just kicking butt, so we're glad to have you with us. Are there any other updates or reports? All right, we will move on to agenda item 5F, which is report of board committees. Any committee chair have any updates? I don't think so. Okay, so we will now move on to agenda item 5G, monthly financial reports through April 30th, 2022 by Dr. Jesus Mesqua, who's our Assistant Superintendent for Business Services. Dr. Mesqua, take it away.
Good afternoon. Okay, the first report is the financial highlights as of April 30th, 2022. All our reports are posted on our website. The balance sheet as of April 30th, we have total assets of $37,700,230, liabilities of $2,278,711, and we have equity of $34,334,219. Our unaudited fund balance estimated for current year, we're at $34,335,219, of which we have excess revenues over expenses as of this time of $9,337,590. Our financial ratios, we have a percent of fund balance ratio. We're at 45% versus 52% at the same time last year. Our working capital ratio, we're at 35 million versus 44 million from a year ago. Our undesignated fund balance ratio, as of April, we are at 45% versus 39% a year ago. And our debt to income ratio is 8.7% versus 8% at the same time last year. Our tax revenue, we're at 34% for this year in terms of the ratio to total revenue. Last year we were at 21% as of the same time. Indirect cost ratio, we're at 2% this year versus 3% last year for our grants. Fee for service ratio, fee for revenue ratio, we're at 21% in this year versus last year of 13%. And our growth, we're actually at -4% versus -6%. So it is coming back little by little, the fee for service revenue this year. Our fund balance activity for the year, we've had amendments from September to January. In May, we don't have any amendments this particular month. Our revenues or inflows for us of April 30th, we're at 76% in the general fund. We're 66% of the fiscal year, and we received 76% so far. Overall budget to actual, we're at 56% for the year in terms of our inflows. In terms of our expenditures, we're at below the 66% or 59%. Our budget to actual is 60% in terms of budget to actual expenditures overall for all funds. Our COVID monies for disaster relief, we have $478,640 in the general fund. And then in the Head Start fund, we still have available $1,249,495 as of April 30th. Our donations for the month were $19,100 for cash, $1,662.71 in kind, a total of $20,762.71. Primarily TOC, Head Start, Ks were some of the donations that receive donations this particular month. Our comparative analysis for tax values, we're at $516 billion. The appraisal district is still updating their, they had an update, so we did not receive the appraisal value for this particular month. They'll update it in the month of May, but we're getting closer to the $520 million that we projected for the year. In terms of collections, so far collected for the year, we're at $24,998,860, or 97% of the budget collected so far. We paid year to date for the tax office and the appraisal district $653,725 for the year. So we're at 97%. Last year at the same time we were at 98.2%. And again, it is harder to collect because it is a much larger tax base to collect. So So we're a little bit behind, but it's going to catch up here in the next couple months. Our disbursements for the month, we have 454 disbursements, 660 transactions, 6 transfers totaling $5,143,950. In terms of our segment information data, we have educational certification, negative 232,844. Records management, negative 449,841. School-based therapy, minus 1,237,662. And our schools at negative 2,510,308. And that's some of the subsidy that will come in from the tax rate. But Choice Partners is maintaining at 65% ratio, so we've received so far $2,869,094 transferred to the general fund. Our foundation, So we have equity of $774,350.28, and we had revenues of $816.95 and $75.25 as expenses. And our PFC, or lease revenue projects, as of April 30th, we'll have a total of $43,321,712 available in the CIP, which includes the PFC and also the maintenance notes. And year to date, we're at ABEs 24%, 21% for Irvington, 10% High Point, and 20% for Adult Ed. And then we have, that's the report for as of April 30th. Any questions that you may have?
Vice President Cantu?
Dr. Mesqua, the donations that we receive,
yes, sir.
Do those folks that make donations or entities that make donations, are they receiving some sort of acknowledgement letter, perhaps from our foundation?
Our grants division takes care of that. They usually acknowledge and provide that. I'll follow up. I know that in the past they used to receive a letter of thanking from
They
the
do.
grants.
I sign all of them.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess what I was getting at was, you know, if we offered a donations to pass through the foundation, they could get a write-off, you know,
right.
Acknowledgement from the, because foundation's a 501c3,
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, we'll work with the foundation to.
I don't
to
know,
see if we
maybe
can do
that might be something we can use to increase.
To increase the
donations.
donations, yes. We'll pursue that with our grants department. Our investment report. We have all that information is posted on our website. Our general fund investment is $41,698,434. We have total portfolio of $58,447,660, and our PFC, which is our capital program, is $24,526,949, and we have the maintenance notes under construction at $14,781,972. Primarily, the investments are in the Lone Star Pool, Texas Glass, Texas Star, and also Tex Pool, and we have 5% in Chase. The PFC is 97% in Tex Pool and 1% at Bank of Texas. The comparison from a year ago, as of April 30th, our portfolio is lower by $2,177,145. And as time goes by, that number is going to continue to go down as we spend our bond money. Other funds are overnight, $58,447,660. We've earned $22,585 in the HCDE portfolio, and PFC $15,231. The rate is 0.317, the average yield, and so you can see now the rates are starting to climb a little bit with the Fed that moved the rates up. So we're going to start to see a little bit of an increase in the next few months. Any questions that you may have on the investment report? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Meskel. We will now move on to agenda item 6, which is our action item, the consensus agenda. Is there any items on the consensus agenda that any board member wants to move to the non-consensus agenda? Going once, twice. All right. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consensus agenda.
I'll make the motion.
I think that was moved by Trustee Cantu and seconded by Trustee Davis. All right. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. We'll now move on to agenda item 7, if I can get to the page fast enough. 7A, which is the approval of approval to purchase DataVox network and data center switches in the amount of $265,192. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Hinojosa. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Dick. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right. All right. Moving on to agenda item 7B, approval to purchase E-rate approved equipment from NetSync in the amount of $197,664. Is there a move by Trustee Hinojosa, seconded by Trustee Cantu? Any discussion?
Can you just tell me what this is?
Do we have some information on agenda item 7B?
Yes, that's replacing older network switches at the schools sites and the Head Start sites, and it's using the E-rate funds. So they fund 85% of it, and we fund 15%.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions about agenda item 7B? What's that? All right. Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? All right. Approved, passed unanimously. All right. I've been just informed by our council that items C, D, and E, there's a proposed motion.
Yes, to have a volunteer. You ready? Okay. I move to approve HCDE Head Start to purchase replacement cameras and servers for 8 Head Start campuses in the amount of $166,667 from Quality Security Systems through HCDE Choice Partners Contract number 21021MJ-31, and delegate authority to the superintendent and/or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute contracts, job orders for the same.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
So it's been moved by Trustee Davis and seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? And we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right. I believe the same is going to happen for agenda item 7D. There's D and E.
This one here?
Trustee Davis said, I didn't realize it was 3 back to back.
Okay, I move to approve the job order contracting method of procurement and the award of a job order contract with Nash Industries Incorporated for the modular building and related items at the proposed Humble Early Head Start Center in the total amount of $1.284155 and delegate authority to the superintendent and or his designee to finalize, negotiate, and execute the contract jobs order for the same.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Trustee Davis, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously.
Okay.
And
I move to approve the job order contracting method of procurement and the award of a job order contract with Quality Security Systems for the access controls, fire alarm, security cameras, and security alarm at the proposed Humble Early Head Start Center in the total amount of $121,003 and delegate authority to the superintendent and or his designee to negotiate, finalize, and execute a contract job order for the same.
all right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
So it's been moved by Trustee Davis, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Trustee Cantu?
Yeah, it looks like several items here, all for the Humble Early Head Start Center. Can we get just a quick update on that? Is that a new center? It looks like we're getting a modular building and all the electronics.
Yeah, we're adding on to the Humble Head Start as it is, and this is the new Early Head Start. So we're going to be adding on a new modular building that will have for their Early Head Start, and this is so that they come in and put in all new equipment from Quality as far as the access, fire alarm, security alarms. So we'll be putting in a whole brand new building. The size of that building is 5,000 square feet, if I'm not mistaken, for this building. So it's already
Campus as Humble.
it's at the church, at the church.
Trustee Davis?
I just have one quick question. Is this the same technology as some of our other campuses, or are we looking forward to updating
No, ma'am.
those as well?
When we update these, especially with the Early Head Starts, we're trying to incorporate all of them so that all the technology will be the same. So all the cameras will be identical, so that we'll have the same type of software for the cameras and the same fire alarm system as well as the security alarm system. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or discussions?
This is part of a Head Start expansion grant received for the Head Start program.
I don't believe there's any more discussion, so we can move it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, that will take us to agenda item 7F, approval of resolution authorizing imposition of penalties and and attorney's fees on delinquent taxes and HCDE's contract for delinquent tax collection with Linebarger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson LLP. Is there a motion?
So moved.
By Trustee Hinojosa, is there a second? Second by Trustee Cantu. Any discussion?
Yeah, can we get an explanation of why we're, the thought behind reducing this fee?
This contract is with the county, and we maintain the same delinquent tax attorney, and they've agreed to reduce the rate throughout their contract with the county. So we're just basically following along so that we can have the same rate and contract with the county and Linebarger as well.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Moving on to agenda item 7G, approval of fiscal year 2021-2022 investment resolution for the annual review of HCDE's investment policy, broker-dealers, and investment trainers. Is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Trustee Hinojosa. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Cantu. Any discussion?
This is an annual requirement of the Public Funds Investment Act to review our policy, have it reviewed by the board. If there's any changes, there are no recommended changes at this time.
All right. All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, move it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Agenda item 7H, approval of a resolution regarding retention incentives for Head Start staff. Is there a motion?
So moved.
As I believe it's moved by trustee Cantu and seconded by trustee Hinojosa. Is there any discussion? Looks like none. All right, seeing there's none, move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, agenda item 7I, discussion and presentation of preliminary tax value, taxable values for tax year 2022. Is there a motion? Oh. Oh, okay.
This is just a presentation, so we're required to provide within 120 days of the preliminary values that we just received. So this is an information that we got from the appraisal district, and basically letting us know where the preliminary values or the estimate is, which is $568,648,741,600. When you look at the layout of this, and I'm going to make this bigger, you see that we're at $516 billion today. The projection is that it's going to be $568 billion, and they project between $540 and $597 billion. So right now we're taking a very conservative approach to go below this number and not get to the, we don't think it's going to get to 568, so it's going to be somewhere around 548, 450 billion in that range. So again, that's 3 months from now, because there's still, people are still filing for, just to file for, to contest the value. So that's still a few process away. We won't receive that until around August the 25th, which will then present the final certified values at that time, 95% usually by that time, and a projection for the year. So this kind of gives you that. I wanted to look at the residential, 14% increase. You see apartments, commercial, industrial, utility. Commercial are still a little bit down, and other property. So overall, this is a 10% increase from current to next year. Now, when we look at our districts that we serve, what they're feeling on their side, Aldine 9%, A-Leaf, and so on. You see all down the road. But look at Dayton, 123%, 14% Spring, Stafford, 23%. Huffman and so on. So you can see that across the board that you see an increase in values going up, and so whenever they look at their taxable values for state funding, that's going to impact their school template and what have you. The information for this, it's in your packet. It's attached to the agenda. It is basically the complete presentation from the appraisal districts, and then you see. If you live in a particular city, you see what a percentage is in the different areas, whether you live in Houston, 8.9, Humboldt, 8.58, Deer Park, and so on. So you see double digits throughout. And then they're all listed there because they collect for the different entities, so we provided with their certified estimates. In terms of the higher ed, community college, again, 8%. League College, 7%, Lone Star College, 12%, San Jacinto College District, 9%. Any questions that you may have at this point in time? Again, it's just information. We will see that 3 months from now when we start going through budgets and information. Okay.
All right. No question. And this agenda item doesn't require a vote, correct? Okay. All right. So that will take us on to agenda item 7J, consider election of president and one or more vice presidents of HCDE Board of Trustees. With regards to this,
if you all want to, you're permitted to discuss this in closed session under 551.074. If you'd like to have that discussion in closed session, you would still be required to come out and vote, of course, in open session. But if you want to talk about it in closed session, you're permitted to do so. It's up to y'all.
Yeah, this is 7J. So, I have my thoughts. Well, I have my own thoughts, but if the board, if y'all want to take this to executive session, that's fine. But I have a thought, and I'll say it, and you guys can tell me how y'all want to do this. But as of now, we have a president, a vice president, and a second vice president. That's how we listed it. Yes. So that would be Mr. Cantu is the first vice president. Ms. Duhan is the second vice president. What I was thinking was Mr. Trustee Cantu would be president. Ms. Trustee Duhan would be first vice president. And the question becomes, who becomes second vice president? The thought, and since this gets a little contentious, my thought was the easiest thing would be seniority, and the question becomes that would mean Trustee Hinojosa, but the question is, I don't know your life, so I can't predict your life. So I won't impose it on you if you're not interested. Is the point? That's I don't want to impose somebody and say, yeah, do this, and you're like, no, I don't want to do this. I know you're running for. I think you're up on the ballot this year, and so I don't know what your life looks like, and I don't know if it's anything you're interested in. But if it is, if you're open to it, that would be my suggestion to be Trustee Cantu, Trustee Duhan, and Trustee Hinojosa. But I'm not, of course, but I want to make sure that you're okay with it before. Well, that would be my recommendation. I don't know, but I don't think I can actually.
And you can. I'd second your recommendation if you made the motion. If you're making the motion, you
Okay.
absolutely can.
Absolutely.
If you are making the motion, I'm going to second it.
I will make that motion, and it's been seconded by Trustee Dick. Is there any discussion?
I wouldn't mind if we wanted to just bring that to executive for a little bit, though, just in case there are other thoughts that anyone else has that don't want to be aired at the moment.
Okay. I mean, if we want to talk about it in executive session, that's fine as well. We can bring it.
Take your motion back.
Oh, okay. Well, I rescind my motion until after executive session, and that's what it sounds like. So, I will. Yeah, we will talk about it in executive session and come back and discuss it after that. Any other questions before we move to executive session? Seeing none, we'll move to executive session at 2:31 p.m. Ready, so it is now 3:26. We are back from executive session. We're going to do agenda items 9 first, and then we'll double back to 7J at the end. And Superintendent Colbert will get to hold the gavel for a minute. I know he's been waiting patiently to hold the gavel, so. Well, non-patient, not so patiently, but he's waiting. So,
deny me my opportunity.
So we will move to agenda item 9A. This is consider terminating assistant principals, chapter 21 probation. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're gonna skip 9A and 9C. Sorry, and move to 9B. Deliberate terminating a transition specialist, chapter 21 probationary employment contract. Is there a motion?
I move to terminate transition specialist Lillian Conway's Chapter 21 probationary employment contract at the end of the contract term in the best interest of the department, and authorize the superintendent or his designee to notify Ms. Conway of this action in accordance with applicable law and policy. Second that.
So it's been moved by Trustee Duhan, seconded by Trustee Davis. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, we will now move to agenda item 9D. Consider approval of superintendent's recommendation to award Chapter 21 contracts for 2022-2023 school year.
To approve the superintendent's recommendation to award Chapter 21 contracts for 2022-23 as presented, except for the correction to award Chapter 21 term contracts for campus personnel for 11 teachers at ABS West.
All right, is there a second? So it's been moved by Trustee Hinojosa, seconded by Trustee Cantu. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All right, passes unanimously. And moving on to agenda item 9E, consider approval of superintendent's recommendation to award non-Chapter 21 contracts for 2022-2023 year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
All right, it's been moved by trustee Duhan. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by, I believe it was trustee Cantu first. Trustee Cantu. Any discussion? I don't think there's any. Seeing none, all in favor? All right. Passes unanimously. We will now move on to agenda item 7J, and that is to consider election president and one or more vice presidents for HCDE Board of Trustees.
Sir, I think I'm supposed to read that.
Okay.
Can I get my gavel? I need the plate, too.
Before you do, let me just say it has been a pleasure serving as you guys' president. It's fast, too. And all of those things. So thank y'all for letting me do this. And Superintendent Colbert, you have your way with the gavel.
Folks, it feels good, I tell you. The amount of power in this hammer right here is just amazing. I've been waiting 12 months to get this hammer back in my little hand. First, I'd like to say before I read 7J that President Norris, you've been an excellent president. I've been blessed with two great presidents in the past. President Dick also was a great president. I look forward to our new president. I will say that this is absolutely the strongest board of trustees I've had the pleasure of working with, and I think the employees in this and Harris County Department of Ed recognize that. And the fact that y'all get along, we laugh at these meetings, and we have very insightful discussions in executive session, really make us a great team of 8. And so I look forward to continuing to work with y'all. I'm going to hit my plate a couple more times real quick. I think I want to widen my cubicle or something, do something. All right, with item 7J is to consider election of president and one or more vice presidents for Harris County Board of Trustees. Do I have a motion?
I move that we elect, that we have trustee Cantu as president, trustee Duhan as vice president, and first vice president, and trustee Hinojosa as second vice president.
So we have a second by trustee Davis. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimously, 6-0. Thank you. I thank President Emeritus Norris, and I look forward to working with trustee Cantu as our new president, and I will pass on the gavel and the plate.
Item 10, if there's any future.
Oh, yeah. Item 10.
Item 10 is discuss any possible action on regarding future agenda items. Does anyone have anything?
I do have something. Maybe we might think of as the leadership progresses, is maybe we call a policy meeting. Maybe have maybe a president emeritus or something like that after the conclusion. If there is a rotation, that might be, we might want to call a policy meeting. That's what I'd note.
Sounds good. I'm sure the administration's taking a note of that, so instruct us on how to move forward on that. Anything else? Any other future agenda items?
I think it's good timing. I think Superintendent Colbert and I talked about that board meeting. This is why, part of the reason I thought it was good to have it close to this time is because now we have a new board, I guess a new board officer, so it's a good time to plan for the upcoming year. So this is why we thought it's better to have it closer to this transition where we can kind of figure out how the year is going to go. So we have our board retreats in like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
So yeah, like 2 weeks. So it'll be good. So looking forward to it and all of that. So you got the power, sir.
Speaking of the board retreat, just wanted to confirm that means that our June board meeting is being pushed back a week?
Yes, well, it's going to be pushed back a week, but not because of the retreat. Y'all are actually going to be at the Summer Leadership Institute in San Antonio, which falls on the same day as the board, so that's why that's going to be pushed back.
That's right. Okay. If there's nothing else on item 10. Item 11 is just a list of information items, and so I will move to item 12. entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by President Emeritus Norris. Second by Trustee Davis. All those in favor?